Folks, we are continuing our President Day stream, and we're going to be playing with some three-dimensional mapping for a Ravnica Hex Crawl campaign that is in slow production, but the mapping works, so I wanted to put it out there for you guys to take a look at. But just give me a hot second here for me to boost my signal, and then I will happily get into all the nitty-gritty of what we're doing here. So hold on real fast. Let's see. Live streaming, D&D, MTG, Ravnica Hex Crawl mapping for Undercity and Rubblebelt adventures at DMsGuild, at Wizards, D&D. There, and I just gotta hit my signal a couple times here on the Discord channels, just real fast here. Just give me a hot second, and then we'll dive into this. Almost there. Stay on target. Videos. Okay, cool. So let's see. Bloop. Bloop. We're gonna spend. I don't know how much I'm gonna spend on this. Honestly, we'll see. I got other things I need to get to today, so maybe we'll spend an hour on it. So what we're looking at here is a hex grid, and we're looking at this is the top side surface, rubble belts of buildings that exist in Ravnica that have been ruined by giant landworms. But in case you don't know, Ravnica is a what is the word? It's a worldwide city that is built upon different striations of city, to the point where the Undercity never sees light, and at one point it just turns into caverns and compressed matter that is that gets farmed for rot by Golgari, and has all these little secret caverns hidden away that used to be urban structure. It's just thousands of feet, miles even, underground. So, and then there's like floating sky cities, and you have mile tall buildings. Then you got the actual surface, which at this point all the mountains have been paved over, and then that's when you start diving down into the Underdark. So what we're doing here is we have a random procedural generation and mapping system for creating random underground spaces. Here is a entrance and another entrance to an Underdark cavern system. Here you can see how the three levels interact with each other. 2 points of surface dropping down into the lower environment, and then dropping down further into this cavern environment here, and then dropping further down into this cavern down here, and then the final drop down here is these two areas at the bottom, and then you could poke another hole and then drive deeper if you want to. So when you're looking at the three-dimensional breakdown of how this stuff works, open circles lead down, dots crosses lead up. If you have a cross inside of a dot, it means it's free fall through the entire structure like you have here. So we're going to take a few, maybe, I don't know, 20 minutes or so, and create some of these so that you can then convert them into some of these shapes. Here's your bottom tier here, which you see reflected here. I'm going to zoom out a bit. There we go. So you can see these 2 points of the surface here. You can see these two top layers are here and here, which are represented here. Then you can see the next layer down are these two things here and here, which are here. And then this is one layer that's here, represented here, and then here and here, which is here, here, and then here. So if you're a DM and you're mapping out something, you can build this thing relatively quickly. When you're doing your prep, like if you know that they're going to be entering another hex inside the Rubblebelt, or if they're exploring the Undercity as part of your prep in the week beforehand, you can create this cavern system to know what these empty spaces are, or you can invert it and you can build something going upward. So I'm going to show you what I do to randomly generate these things, which will eventually, in probably 2023 at some point, a Ravnica Rubblebelt Hex Crawl campaign toolkit for you to be able to build, to point out how to build these things, how to code all the different hexes to different color alignments, how to filter in the different guilds that are in control of the area, the different type of challenges, whether they're social, exploration, or combat encounters, and the type of things that you would be having those encounters with, what kind of creatures, what guild representatives would be your adversaries or potential allies in those circumstances. So right now we're just going to focus on building something like this, but we're just going to build a new one. So I am going to partition off this part of the map, and you know what, honestly I don't need to do that. I can just sample 1, and then we'll go here to sample 2. We'll just zoom in a bit. Let's say we're going to go to, I'm going to rearrange the structure of my screens here. Why is my mouse not catching? Here and here. It would be really useful if I could. What the hell's going on? Why is my mouse not working? I am trying to make things work. That works. What the hell is going on? They're not locked. Sorry, folks. This is really goofy. Maybe I can order. Move to bottom. And then let's go with full screen, order. I'm gonna have to figure out what the hell's going on. Move to the top, and then video capture, order. Sorry about this. This is just an unexpected glitch in the system. So I'm going to put that back in position. Here's this, and okay, great. So back on task, hopefully. Here, I'm gonna find out what the hell happened to my mouse. But so we have our map, and then we're just in Roll20. The way that it works is if you're looking at a hex, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points. And in a 3D environment, you have, let's say north is this way. So you have here, and then here, and then here. Let's see, yeah. Here is your plane, and then here, and then here is your plane. So this is the perspective that you use. So this is, if north is over here, then on a hex you've got north, south, west, east, and then up and down. Those are your 6 directions. So we don't worry about mid angles like northeast, northwest. It's just we're building squares. We're building square Tetris type shapes. So you can see here that you've got north heading this way, you've got south heading this way, you've got west heading this way, and you have east heading this way. That's how the maps are built. So when we roll our d6, we are going to first have a point of we're going to have a point of entry from the surface that's going to be represented by a dotted line dropping down into the environment, and you can have as many spaces between your entry point and the underground realm, but I typically go I typically start with 1, 2, 3 spaces, and then here's your point of entry. Crosses go up, circles go down. If you have a circle inside of a cross inside of a circle, that means that it goes through and drops down to the next one. 1, 2, 3, and then you're at the next level. So that's what the mapping, that's what the symbols on the map represent. So having that in mind, there. Let us, I'm going to clear this up a bit just to get it out of the way. Generally, you don't want to have these environments more than 3 squares wide, so they don't run into other structures that you're going to build underneath it. So it has this slim sort of skyrise building sort of look. So what we'll actually do is we'll start by building a skyscraper going up, since Ravnica is full of these different levels with sky, with like just has miles of just blocks of building. That kind of like Japan, you can go from one building to the next by just going through doors leading to the next passageways. And yeah, it's a Rubblebelt campaign for Ravnica, Undercity, as well as skyscraper complexes. So I'm just walking through the mental process of how I build them. So I'm going to first build a skyscraper going up, and then I'm going to build an Undercity point of access leading down from there. So we're going to, circles means down, and crosses mean up. So if you have a cross inside of a circle, it means both. And so that's going to be our point. That's going to be our point of entry. So what I do is I use roll 20 is easy enough. I will take a d6 and let's see, make sure it is, let's go with roll. That is a 3. So this initial point that is going to lead up into this at this initial surface level. This hex specifically that we're inside of has 1, 2, 3, has 3 points, but I'm not sure which points they are yet. So I'm going to do 1. It's that didn't work. I want to take this down to 1d6. There. That is a. I just happened to roll a 3 on a d20. I'm going to let it stand. So we are going to have, we're going to have 6 points on this first square. So that means that every point on the hex is going to have access, which ironically makes sense because it's the ground floor of a building that goes both up and down. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is up, this is down, this is north, this is south, this is west, this is east. So we know that we have a point in all 4 cardinal directions. So now we're just going to go in a direction, and so we'll start. Let's start over here. We know that we're going to have 1, 2, 3. We're going to have the next floor 3 hexes up, and we're going to have the subterranean, the Undercity, 3 hexes down. So that'll be our defining space. So generally, we're not going to want to have this sprawl north past here. And because we have under, we're generally not going to want to have this sprawl more than 2 south here, so that we keep this within a constrained space, so it's not going to run into the structures underneath. So let's see. Since this is, I'm going to make an arbitrary decision. Since this is the entryway, from the street or the rubble belt into the complex, I'm going to just arbitrarily rule that this is the cap. This is the leading edge of the building. So you can have any kind of sprawl inside of here, but this is going to be our limit moving in through here. So here, and this is the first time I've done this, and I'm doing this. Well, this is the first time I've done it on camera. I built a couple of these on my own to the point where I like how it works. So forgive how raw and rough it is that I design. I speak to things, but we're going to let's start here, heading west, since that's how the slope of the map works. We're going to we had 6 points, so we know that there's this first one had 6 points, so we know every one of them has a point. So that means we're automatically moving into this space. Let's see how many points from here. This one also has 6 points. So this one is also going to be, screw you, roll 20. This is also going to have 6 points here. So taking that in mind, let's keep moving south to see what happens. Why are you rolling nothing but 6s? Thank you. Jeez. Let's go with a 3. Okay, now there's randomizing again. Let's just go. A 6. What is with you? Why is it rolling nothing but 6s? Knock it off. I'm just going to have to roll like 1,000 dice here to get those 6s out of its system. Jeez. All right, and okay, so 1. If there's only 1, we're just going to go with that. So since we already came off of a passageway and it only rolled a 1, we know it's going to go back to itself. So this is going to be a dead end here. There. Now we also have all these other points leading inward that we have. So instead, let's go this way, eastward, to see how large this structure is going to be. So we know that we have 1 point here. Let's see how many. That has 1 point also. So yeah, real random there, roll 20. Nice job. We know that this is finite here. And here. So this is the extent of the ground floor of this building, which is going to make for a pretty tight structure, which is fine. Let's go to this one here. And we are going to roll 3. So this one, this hex has 3. Points of access. We already know that one of them is automatically going to be here. So let's roll a d6 again to see what the next point is. That's a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to lead into this one, which we already know exists. So that's going to be there. We already know one of them is here. We have 1 left, equals 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is going to lead into this space here. So this is going to be open. Let's see what this room does. How many points does it have? It has 4. We already know one of them is going to be here. So let's see what the rest of them are. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to go here. And it's going to go 2, which is 1, 2. And it's going to go 3, which is 1, 2, back in the place it already came. So that's 4, and then it has 5 total. It goes to 1, 2, which is redundant here. So we know this is going to go like here, creating this space. And we know that since here and here are adjacent, this is going to be a larger space between the two of these things. So this is going to be a larger cavern area, like this. And we know that this leads off this way. So let's go ahead and build this one to see how far it goes. It rolls a 2. So we already know that 1 is going to go back the way it came. So let's roll again. The other way is 1, 2, 3. This is going to go down. So this is going to be a tunnel that leads down. And it is a dead end. So here is a dead end that led to here. This is the shape of our building so far. This may cap off this way, or depending on what this hex does, it could open up. So we're going to roll for this remaining hex to see what we have. We already have 1, 2, 3, and then we have 4 as the next opening space. So we'll see how many we get. We get 4 spaces. It also leads up. and down. So it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's got 1 up, 2, 3, 4. This room is already capped because it only has 4 exit points. So we know that it is going to cap here. So this is the ground floor that we are looking at. Hopefully that made sense. I'll eventually have to write this out and make examples, but videos like this being posted on the product page when it gets built out and published on DMsGuild is super useful. So this is our first floor. Then we can see on the second floor, we already have the leading edge here, so we know that it is going to be capped here. And we want to be mindful of running into the rest of this building. So buildings tend to go up and become more narrow as they rise. So this is helping us create a finite space inside of the environment. And we know that like if we have like something long, like we can scroll on forever this way because it's not running into this. But the lower level map we use as a limit on how far it can go. If this map had, say, extended out to here, then we would have had a cap here so that the building would have continued to have this conical shape moving upward. But since we don't have that limitation, let's see where it takes us. So we're going to start with this one since this is the most interesting point. It has 5 points. So we already know 1 is here. We know 2 is down automatically. So let's see where the rest of these go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's redundant. That's 2 spaces now. And then the next one is 6, which is 3. That's redundant. This is 4, which is 1, 2, 3. That hits a wall. That would go this way, but it hits a wall, so that's dead space. And then we have 2. 1, 2, which leads back to here. So this is actually a really narrow section. It just goes like this. So this is going to be probably a very low top building. There's nothing that's leading it further from this point yet. It's just going to be like if we're looking at a rubble belt, it's been knocked down by landworms already. If we're looking at here's ground 0, so far this structure is looking something like this. And it might end up like this, and like that'll be it. And then you'll have like rooftop access from there. But we'll see. It could end up being something like this. But it's most likely going to cap here. So let's see what this last space does. This last space has 3 points. We already know that 1 is down and 2 is over. So let's see what the last one is. 5. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it leads right back. So as predicted, this building is finite. So it basically looks like this building looks basically like this. It's got 2 floors, and it's got a large open plan in the middle. So when you're designing this, it is going to have a large access in the middle. You can have 1, 2, typically 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3 floors, 1, 2, 3 floors. So you have, and then you have a rooftop access. So this is going to have a total of potentially up to 6 floors inside of it. And then from here, since it's a city top, we can go to our Ravnica Hex Crawl map to look at if this was a skyway. These are the different guilds that could have controlled the area. Since we are looking at Rubblebelt, this would be inside of a building. So here are the different type of guilds that could have controlled the city. So let's go back to our map here, and the city is going to be a D6. So that's going to be 3. 1, 2. It's going to be 1, 2. City. We roll D6. There's 1 faction, 2 faction, 3 faction, 4 faction, 5 faction, 6 factions. We rolled a 3, so it's going to be 1, 2, 3. Izet. So this is an Izet. This was an Izet building. So Izet structure, some sort of, and then we're going to have let's see. Hex Crawl, white, blue. These are the hex crawls. Let's see what we have. Oh, no, we don't have it we don't have it built out yet. So what we would end up doing is having like different types of infrastructure or municipal or housing. It could be any of those things, but as we go on in the future, we'll find out what that is. But this thing is starting off as an Azet structure. So let's go underground. Diving down underneath. Let us see. Is this making sense so far? Hopefully this makes sense to folks. But the process is going to be the same. That this is the surface level that we've opened up as a shape. And then we're delving down underground. And we'll see if these two areas connect or not. But as we dive further down, we're going to see this doesn't have the same structural limitations because these things become more finite as you go up above ground, but they can become larger as you go below underground. And at a certain point, it tapers off and then it starts to shrink back in. So when you build upward, you are filling in space. Like this is a floor plan where you can have structures and all sorts of stuff happening inside of it. But when you build Undercity, you're creating caverns. Because the city is completely filled in, if you create a hollow space here, the floors surround the hollow space. So what we're defining is how you can enter this environment, the caverns and the shafts that you can access to drop down, and then it's surrounded by different potential factions that are warring with each other at different tiers. Like this top tier could be controlled. This top tier could be controlled by Izzet, but then when you drop down the next level below it, it could be controlled by Golgari or Simic or Rakdos. We'll see how it gets randomed up. But first, what we want to do is we want to build the environments. So we're going to continue the same process. We are going to start with this hex since it's the furthest over and has probably the most limitations on movement. I'm going to create some space here between the two so that we can see how they descend into each other. So starting off with a brand new hex here, we already know that 1 goes up. Die roll equals a 1. So this is a dead end. Dirt, 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 dirt. That was easy. This is its own access point. There's nothing else engaging with this in the area. I got my perspective wrong. There. Now we go back to this one. We know this is cut off, but if the map pushes us into this space, then we can change that and make it open up. So let's see. Here's our first point here, and let's roll the die. It's a 1. Thanks a lot, Roll20. Doing us a lot of favors here. Let's override that for the... Okay, great. It's a 6. You know, if I don't like one, I like the other. So this is going to lead to a lower space again. So we can get rid of this connective tissue. We now have a... at minimum a 1, 2, 3 point structure that we're working with. Here's your street surface or rubble belt level, and then a small building going up and then further going down. Let's see where it leads us. Let's stay on this map here. We already know it's 6, so we know it's going to expand this way, all the ways. So we're starting to run into this area over here, so we're going to go like this and get this out of the way here. Hopefully this is entertaining. Let's see. The most significant one that we're going to have to deal with next is here. We already know that it's got 1 leaning back towards from whence we came, but there's 3 total. So 1, 2, 3. We already have 1 here. Let's see what the other 2 are going to be. 6. This is going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 is going to lead to there, and then the third is going to be 3. 1, 2. It goes back to itself. So we know that this is going to be like this, and then it's going to lead on to this next space here. we're already getting really close to just connecting these two things. So let's see what ends up happening. This is going to have 5 points. Great. Let's see what that ends up doing. We already know that there's one leading back the way it came, so we'll see what those do. 1, 2, 3, 4 goes down. So we now have 1, 2, 3, a connector down here. Underground's getting bigger. Next is going to be, there's a total of 5. 4, that's redundant, so that's 2. 1, 2, 3. That leads up, but we already know that there's no upward access, so that is nipped. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's one more left. That's 4, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. That connects here. So we had predicted that was possible, and it happened. So this is how this space is shaping up. Okay, we still have the 1, 2, 3 points off of here. So let's go and let's explore in this space next. This is going to have, screw you, 6 points. So we already know that we got 1 here. And I guess we're going to drop down here. We already know that 1 is next. We can't go up because it's already been blocked, but theoretically, there is space above it, so we could have a point of entry here that drops down. One, 2. Oh no, that's right. This is connecting, so that actually makes sense. So let's see. X. That was 1, and then 5, 6. So 0.1, yeah, that sinks. 6, that leads off this way. So this is going to, I'm going to flesh this out like this so it becomes a larger space. 5. Goes to here. 1 already goes up. That's redundant. That's 4 so far. 1, 2, 3. It goes this way as well. And the last one is also 3. Okay, great. So we now have dirt, 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 like that. And we have here. Let's see. We've got this space that we're contending with. So let's see what this dot does. This dot has 6. I don't know what's going on with you, Roll20. You and your bits. So we already have 1. We have 2. We have 3 already allocated for. Leading north, leading east, and leading down. The next one is going to be 3, which is 1, 2, 3. So this is also going to take us further. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 6 total. So next is going to be 6, which is redundant, leading that way. And then the last one is also 6, leading that way. So, okay, great. So this is a dead end. And we have leading down. We are starting to reach finite space because this is going to have its own environment down here. So we can't really push this one past here. Otherwise, we're going to start running into logistic issues of being able to properly map this in a three-dimensional space. You could ignore that and just map it out on paper, like square as you go, like such, and then build out squares like this if you want to. But for this demonstration, we're staying in a three-dimensional space. Cool. Hopefully it makes sense, and hopefully it seems interesting. Now, there's not a lot of three-dimensional map generations out there, so I figured this might be something useful for folks to take a look at. But yeah, thanks for stopping by, man. I really appreciate you. So we got our circle here leading down, circle up and down. This is up only here. Okay, we're dealing with this level here now. Let's keep working this front corner. Let's see what that does. 2. Okay, great. So we already have 1 and we already have 2. So this squares off immediately. Just as we had hoped. There we go. There's your proper perspective. Let's see how this goes. We'll work with this. We'll work with this middle one. It already has 1, 2, 3 points. So let's see how many points it has. It has 1. So this one's already resolved. Let's see. We have another point here, and we have a point here. Let's resolve this point here. We have 1, 2, 3 points of access. So it's already going to get. It's already 1, 2. It's got 2 points that we know for a fact. So 2 points. There you go. That worked out. So this is going to square off here. Here as another point. This circle drops down. This circle drops down. 1, 2, 3. And we're taking it further. 4. Yeah. Okay, this is our last point over here. Let's see what it does. So we only have 1 point of access going back. So there's a lot of potential chaos happening here. Let's see what it does. 3. And 1 is going to be 1. It wants to lead up, but we know that. Oh, yep, that could. That is fine. I can lead down. So that's 2 points resolved. It only has 3. So the last point is going to be 3, which is 1, 2, 3, which opens up this space. Now this space has become larger, but it also closes it off here and here. So this is our last point of access, and we already have 1, 2 spaces that it fills in. Let's see how many it wants. It wants 3. So let's see what it does. 1, 2. So it leads here. So we are building out further east. Let's see how many points. It only has 1 point of access leading back into the structure, and it wants 6. So let's see what it does. 1, 2. 1. It wants to lead up, but that's already a dead end, so we'll nix that. And 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is going to be, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that went down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's where that goes to. So this is going to drop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is where the next point is. down here. Cool. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. It's going to lead back this way, which is a dead end. And then 1, which leads up, which is also a dead end. So this is going to lead this way. Now, at this point, let's see what that's going to do. It's going to have 5 points. So we already know that 1 is going to lead back to way from whence we came. Let's see what the rest do. 6. 6 is going to go this way, which is something we can open up. So that is there. 1, 2, and then 5 leads back from whence we came. That's 3 of them. 5 again, that's 4 of them. 6 again, that's 5 of them. And then 5 again. So this basically caps off here. This is starting to get hemmed in, so I'm just going to make the arbitrary decision to just cap this off. So this is how this floor currently looks. 1, 2, 3 points of access down, and then to this 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So let's see. We're gonna have to scoot this over to here, and we'll build out the whole thing once we're done. So let's see. We are now operating down on the next floor. We're gonna get these dots out of the way. Let's see. Let's work with this one first to see what it does. We have 1 point that goes up. Let's see how many points we get. We get 6 points. I don't know what's going on with Roll20. All it wants to do is roll 6s. Screw you, Roll20. Your RNG is BS. But hey, that's what we got. So we know 1 is 1. 1, 2. So it's going to go this way. That's 2 points. 1, 2, 3. It is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. It's now leading down. That's 3 points. 3 is 1, 2, 3. That's 4 points. 6 is going to go this way. That's 5 points. And then 1, we already know that it goes up, so that's redundant. So we know that it dead ends here. But it opens up these other directions. So this one is the one that's most at risk of getting closed off. So let's go ahead and calibrate that one real quick. It has 1 that already leads back from whence it came. Let's see how many points it has. Why are you only rolling 6s? Not good enough. I'm going to just keep rolling. 3. That feels much better. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is also going to drop. So that's 2 points. And then 4 again drops. Again. So beep, 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 beep. X. And then the next hex up is also X. Hey-o, 145. 145 here in Seattle. We got some time left. Let's see. Oops. All right, so this is the next structure that we need to worry about. This one here that leads up. We already know it leads up, and we also already know it leads back. So that's, well, we don't know it necessarily leads back. This could just be a shaft dead into itself. So we only know about 1 point. Let's see how many points it has. It has 1 point. Isn't that funny? So this is going to be its own little dead end. So let's see what this one does. We know this one has 1 up and then 2. Right, so we don't know the rest yet. It has 6. So 1, 2. Let's see what else. 4. It also goes down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. To here. One, two, three, four, five, six. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That tracks. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4 goes down again. 5 goes up again, and then 1, 2. So this is going to, I'm going to go ahead and just open this up. Good. Okay, cool. So X circle, cross circle, circle cross, circle cross, circle cross, cross circle cross, circle cross, circle, circle cross, circle cross, dead end. Circle leading down. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we are at this point. Let's see what that one does. 3 points. So we know one goes back from whence it came. Let's see what the rest do. 1, 2. You got another point there. And then the last one is 6. So we're here. We're just going to go ahead and cap this one off because we're starting to encroach in space. So that's how that one looks. That makes sense. And because we're running into space here, we're going to cap off this wall here. It can still run east, but it can only push south at this point. And we already know this is walled off to an extent, so let's see what this one does and just fill in the gap with this one. So this one has one going back, and now it has one going forward. So that's got 2 already, and of course it rolls a 6. Let's try something else. A 5. How imaginative. Thank you. Okay, let's try it. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 goes back from whence we came. That's 3, 4. We're not going to accept going. Oh yeah, actually we can. So that is now going to be across. That's 4, and then the last one is 5, which leads back from whence we came. So this one is here. Let's see, we got this point here. Let's see what it does. 2 points. It already has 1, 2, so that's capped. And then we go to here. Let's see what this one does. It has 2. It already has 2 points, 1, and then up. So we're going to cap this one for the sake of the video. We're going to cap this one here. Yeah, then we'll just cap this off. So that is our structure there. And then we'll do this one last structure. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's go with this middle one. See what it does. 2 points. It already has one going up, and it's already connecting. So let's say it just gets capped. Let's just check the directions real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're not going to go any further down, so we're going to go ahead and ignore that one. So this one caps off here. But what about this one? At this point here, how many does it have? It already has 2. That's 2. So this is its own environment. And now let's look at this one. It has one going up, it has one going up. So this is also a dead end. So this is the total complex that we're looking at. See some connective tissue here. So let's see. We have the is it structure up top. Like this is our city block. And then, so we got that going up, and then we got structure going down. Initially, it looks like it's staying. Let's see. Drops down to here, and then it drops down to here, and then it drops down to here. This is larger than the structure over it, and then it shrinks down again to here. 1, 2, 3, and then it is here. We have 1, 2, 3 points. Is a hole here, and then up and up here. Let's see, up and then up and down and down to this level. Up, up, down, and then up. So this is the rough cutaway of how the interior space looks. So let's cavern this out a bit to give it some more fleshiness. Two. They got 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So we know that the interior of the top side, when it's top side, the interior gets filled. But when it's underneath, it gets hollowed out. So this central shaft, these spaces are open environments where characters can splunk into. And like you have these 3 shafts that are parallel to each other, just means it's like a massive cavern that opens up underneath this building. So we could actually have something like it just opens up. It just falls away. So let's go ahead and shrink that down. this over here. So let's see who runs this. Let's see who runs these different territories. So we know that Izette's up top. So we will go here and we'll place Izette here. And let's see who is on this side, this side, this side, this side, this side, and this side. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 points that we have. And here's the map that we're using. We're using Undercity. So we're going to roll 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 would be another city. So would be the city level. So we roll a 5. So it's going to be in here someplace. So we can then roll a D8 instead, and we get a 2. So it's going to be 1, 2. So this is going to be Rakdos. We'll just make it easier to read Rakdos and call it black red equals Rakdos, and Izette is blue red. And then, so let's see the next, let's see what's across from, I'm going to take this and put it up top. And then over here, we're going to have a D6, it's a 3. And then let's just go ahead and flesh out the rest of these to see if any of these roll a 6. 2. Up. Okay, so this one is going to have a city side. 1, 2. Okay, and then so the city side map is going to have a D6. So let's roll again. Equals a 6, which goes back to the Undercity. Fine. 6 goes back to the city. 4. So a 4 is going to be inside the city. So let's switch this to a D8 so we see what the city is, and the city is going to be a 6. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is, that's awesome. So this is also going to be UB. So let's see what this one is. I'm interested now. D8, it's going to be an 8, which is going to be city side. We look at the map here, Underbelt, it goes down to 8, so it's the city side. So let's see what it's going to roll. A 4. 1, 2, 3. Oh, interesting. Azorius. So it's going to be white U, which is Azorius. Let's check out this zone over here, see what that turns out to be. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is going to be black, green. Let's see what's going to be underneath it. 4, which is going to be 1, 2, 3. Also, black, green, black, green. We got this last zone here to figure out, which is going to be a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Golgari. Black, green, and then finally, what's underneath? 1, which is, ooh, interesting, Orzhov. White, black. Cool. Okay, so this is the structure that we see. This is the map that we built. The upside structure is blue, black. Of course, this is a rubble belt area, so this whole place got trashed. As you dive underground, here's your surface level, which is which is this whole structure. Here is that, and then we have over on this side. We have white, blue, and then on this side we have the blue, red, which is Rakdos. That's really fun. And then here we have more Izette, and then across from it we have Golgari, and then we have Golgari, and then underneath all of this we have Orzhov is at the very bottom of it. So when we're building out this structure, when you're moving through these shafts from the surface area, after this building got evacuated and has been scrapped out, the stuff that you're going to find in it, the things that are left over that are going to stop you are going to be Izzet themed. There could be artifact creatures that are still trying to run the facility, depending on what we roll the facility to be. Maybe it was a factory. There could be mere constructs still trying to build stuff. So the surrounding area could have mere scavengers going out to collect material and pull them back in. If you go into the facility and you drop down into it, as you drop down into it, there either was or could still be Rakdos active. Chances are that if it was Azorius, they were scrapped out and is now shelled. So as you come into this space, there could be lots of guardian spirits that are still in the area that could be in conflict with the mere scavengers that are delving further down to find resources, while the Rakdos faction could be waylaying across to try to loot both the Izzet facility and what's left of the Azorius archives that are here. Further down, Izzet is reestablished down here, so this is either each tier is a different era or age of growth. So this is most likely long since decommissioned Izzet content, but the Mir may have a protocol to re-establish functions in an area, so they could be pulling resources in from the environment specifically so that they can drop these constructs can drop down and start firing up whatever machinations are down here. It might even be a larger laboratory. It could be a larger factory. It could be waterworks of some sort or an electrical generator. It could be a power generator would make a lot of sense. So what I'm envisioning so far is this is your power generator. All this area is Golgari, and then there's Rakdos on top of that, which means that the Golgari have likely scrapped out. This is all going to be mushroom farms of different sorts. I'm not sure. This is so far underground. This is probably like a crypt or like a sealed tomb. Maybe the Golgari at this point have started to encroach on that tomb and have broken it open. So maybe there's spirits being unleashed down here as well. So you've got this spirit sandwich down here and here. These two, there's this spirit undead theme that's infecting both this Izzet factory and the mushroom farms of the Golgari at these lower levels. Golgari could be at war and conflict with Rakdos, as both of them are attempting to loot from these upper levels, while you have the Mir is pushing down and trying to reactivate the facility. So as a campaign setting, this alone could keep your characters busy for 5 or 6 levels as they try to negotiate and work between the different remnants that are still there. Of course, the top side is rubble, so you also have the threat of Gruul clans trying to move in and knock out the mirrors that are trying to reestablish the power structure underneath to get the factory that's tattered up above. You could also have Selesnya trying to move into the area to cultivate it, and also wanting to clear out things so there could be a battle between Gruul and Selesnya happening. There's a lot going on here. Like I said, this is going to be a campaign toolkit that is being built. This would be one hex in a larger hex map area. Let's see if we were to conceal that, and let's see if I can find something useful here. Burp burp. Well, mouse is being goofy. We can see different each hex has a different surface level environment. So as you're moving through hexes, you're dealing with different types of problems. Yeah. So the idea when this thing gets fleshed out is that you're moving across the surface from hex to hex, and when you find a hex, it's going to have stuff on the surface, and then there's going to be stuff underneath it. And each hex is going to have a different color theme on the surface. Like this would be. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not derp. That's not blue black. That's blue red is what I'm supposed to have here, because this is that blue red. Sorry about that. It's not Demir. It is that blue red, and then black red here. Cool. Okay. I mean, so there you go. Walking through that. This is a really interesting environment. All of a sudden, there's a lot going on here. You could potentially build a magic deck that has a stack of Mir, Rakdos, Golgari, and then white-black spirit tokens in them, so that you could be drawing cards on random encounters that you run across. You could have a separate deck for each layer. The surface level could be a Golgari versus Izzet deck. You could have a mix of artifact creatures, spirit creatures, and Rakdos in a single deck on this level. As you dive down to the next level, you could have more constructs versus Golgari at this level. This level could be a deck of just nothing but Golgari, but a higher CR creatures. And then at the very bottom of it is the deepest level, so it's going to be the most dangerous. And that would be a crypt full of powerful undead that are forgotten long ago, or perhaps not forgotten long ago by the Orzhov, but left alone until something dives too deep. Perhaps it was sealed off because they were dangerous, and the Golgari didn't know that, and they breached it. And now they're unleashing horrible things that the Golgari are attempting to take control of, and they may or may not succeed. So Golgari could end up taking control of this whole thing by usurping all the undead down that layer. So then that could be a higher level issue. So that's the idea. Each hex has its own little cosmos inside of it for you to build out of, and that would be a Ravnica Rubblebelt campaign. So Ravnica Rubblebelt Hex Crawl campaign. That's the plan. It's going to be a while before it's actually published, but I wanted folks to be able to take a look at it so they can see what the thoughts are behind how these things work, in case it's useful for you to use in your campaign now. Hopefully this is fun to look at. I love building these things. Each one is its own unique biome, I guess, its own environment, its own unique circumstances. So next time when we come through and do this, we'll build an upper city skyway that is not Rubblebelt, but an active community that we can see that's above the city surface leading into the sky, and we can take a look at how that environment might work differently. So like, subscribe, down the doobly-doo, check out the color mana products I already have on the DMsGuild. Look through all of them as much as you want. Purchase if you don't mind having more books like this being created. Dollars or votes, yes. And follow me on Twitter so I can see and ask me questions. Be welcome. I'll see you guys soon. I'm going to be doing a walkthrough of the Martial Powers book in a little while. So see you then.